So where the pedal chain starts is going to be at my wah here, which most of the time I don't use, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I'm feeling frisky. It goes from the wah directly over into my auto wah. This is the FM Line 6 FM4. It's a filter modeler, which I mainly use as an auto wah, but it's got a whole bunch of other crazy stuff that it does. These are kind of finicky pedals to mess with. They require a whole nother power supply that's separate from my isolated power. They take like a different jack and everything, but the capabilities, the sounds that it's capable of they're just next level. They do like I really love this one, the voice box. Yeah, that's a sick pedal. And then from there, I believe it goes down. It goes down from into my... No. It goes over to the pitchfork. The pitchfork is obviously a pitch shifter. I mainly just use it for the 1 octave up or the 1 octave down. I keep it in dual mode a lot, but just a slight kind of double tracker sound. Thickens it up a little bit. Gets that Conan. I actually used it in this recording, in this song you're hearing. But yeah, cool little pedal. In fact, I use this for the robot voice at the beginning and end, and like in the middle parts of Sweets. That like robot voice that you're hearing is actually me running through this and just fucking with the knobs while I'm talking. So yeah, little trick I kind of nabbed from Home Shake. But he uses like a Boss pedal, like a PS pitch shifter pedal. But anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. That goes down with I have these cool little solderless cables. I got these off of Amazon. You can just cut your own length of wire, screw them on, then you've got custom length cables. And I could change them if I ever wanted to change it out. I've still got some extra wire. Super good. That goes straight into my limited edition gold and black Boss DS1. These are normally like just regular boring orange distortion pedals, and I don't really use it for distortion, more of like a slight just dirty boost. I keep everything pretty dialed back. But that runs straight into the June 60 by TC Electronic. Simple as can be, no knobs even, just 2 modes. You can put it both together, but it's modeled after the chorus that comes on the Roland Juno 60 keyboard, so I know I had to have it if it's vintage Roland inspired. That runs straight into the Aqueduct, which I very rarely use those at the same time, but this is the Earthquaker Devices vibrato pedal. It's got so many different modes. It's like basically a bunch of different pedals in one, and I use it a lot all over the place. Super awesome little pedal for that kind of like Mac DeMarco warbly lo-fi sound. I've found that it emulates tape or vinyl warble very well if you put it on a more subtle setting. This goes straight into my Boss Flanger BF3 classic purple deal. Yeah, this has got a lot of different modes. I think right now it's in ultra mode, just to be like extra crazy. I think I was using it for like a solo or something. But yeah, you know, just a cool little fucking classic flanger pedal. I love, with my modulation, you know, and with distortion, I mean, with a lot of stuff, Boss, you know, just makes some of the best stuff. They're just workhorses. They're cheap, they're affordable to working musicians. They sound amazing. You've heard them on like all kinds of classic albums, and you know, you don't have to break the bank to have some really cool, you know, vintagey sounds. So yeah, both the phaser and the flanger are just the classic Boss deals. I think the purple and green look perfect together anyways. So that goes straight into my reverb pedal. This is the Death by Audio reverberation machine. I keep it pretty subtle on this guy, but I do use it for effect. You know, I get crazy with it sometimes, obviously, for the lo-fi out there sounds. And this has actually replaced the amp reverb for me. I was using pretty much all through Suites, you're hearing the amp reverb, but for this next project and for all my new stuff, it's gonna be this. It's gonna slightly like moodier, more characteristic sound. Of course, you know, a deluxe reverb, spring reverb tank, fucking classic, you know, reverb sound always will have its place, but yeah, that guy has been getting a lot of play lately. So that goes, you know, straight up into the amp, which is obviously, as you can see, it's just a regular blackface deluxe reverb. I changed the jewel, the jewel out to be like purple blue, you know, just to spice it up. And the knobs they got these from Build Your Own Clone. Got the rainbow thing to kind of fit with my vintage Roland aesthetic that I've got going on. Yeah, I got a little, this is like a electro voice something or another. The I don't know if you can read that, but it's the ND468. Yeah, just a little fucking mic that I got for free, I think, at my old music store I was working at. From the mic runs up to my mixer. This is a relatively new pickup for me. The ART tube mix. Let's get a little light on that. It is it's cool for what it is, but I am a little disappointed with it. And I don't know if it's due to you know, the design or maybe just the wiring in my house, but it is a little buzzy when I'm using it through USB. So I've actually still been using my old PreSonus interface for connecting to, you know, USB stuff, and actually just run the output of this from the headphones into a channel on the PreSonus, so that you know, if I ever want to record instruments, you know, I can still use this as my, you know, mixer like I intended to. And it's really cool, obviously vintage looking, has the wood cheeks, which is probably the main reason I bought it, if I'm being honest. You've got, focus on that. You got an amp simulator, and you've got a 12AX7 tube that you can mix into the first, or to any of the channels really. And that, you know, that tube warmth, you know, just adds a lot of that vintage kind of sound to your recordings. So yeah, then from there, let's see. Of course, everyone's already familiar, probably, with my SP404 SX. It's been through a lot. It's got its fair share of battle scars and everything. I actually can't use it to sample in right now because I've got a little piece of an RCA cable that broke off in the line in port. I don't know if you can see that, but it's all like scarred up because I tried to get it out, and I'm probably gonna have to replace that whole port, but you know, c'est la vie. It still works if you just, you know, you gotta load the card from your computer to sample in, basically. kind of annoying, but whatever, you know, I'm not too worried about it. I don't use this a whole lot these days. I was using it a lot when I was making beats, you know, and it was pretty much a daily use for the whole lo-fi beat making thing, and I still use it if I ever want to get that same aesthetic and that same character on a recording. But this bad boy, this is a telephone microphone. It's an old 1950s telephone. These were used in a military base, I believe. This guy's Static Instruments. I think he signed it. I don't know, you're probably not gonna be able to read that. But this guy, Static Instruments, makes these. Travis Foltz, I think. Yeah. If that's wrong, I apologize, Travis. But yeah, Static Instruments. There you go. You maybe can read it if it's the proper direction. Maybe. Pretty much just a basic little lo-fi mic. You know, has a filter control so that you can make it dirtier or cleaner. You know, this guy just like circuit bends old you know, technology and toys and stuff that he finds laying around. I think it's super sick. Now then, I guess from there we can talk about what's closest. This is my Arturia The Player 25 MIDI controller. Of course, they got me again with the wood cheeks. The wood cheeks and the little joystick are just a joy to play with, and the keys feel amazing. This is kind of like the MIDI controller I've wanted all my life. It's nice and portable. It just slides up under the desk when I don't want to use it. You know, get rid of it, out of sight, out of mind. Just plug and play with all my Mac stuff, which is great. Can't really say enough good about that. I got it for like $80 used, so I mean, you know, what's not to love? Of course, we've got the good old trusty dusty MacBook Air. A lot of people insist that you need a MacBook Pro at least to make music with. I mean, at least in my case, I can tell you it's entirely not true. This is a 2014 MacBook Air. It's very dated at this point. But I still have no issues whatsoever, you know, running your basic recording software, you know, Logic, and running plugins on it. And you know, you know, granted, I'm not doing 20 tracks at a time and doing these big sprawling arrangements, you know, I give you that, but for what it is and for what most people are gonna do, I feel like with it, you know, yeah, you can definitely, you know, if you know, if all you can afford is a MacBook Air, for sure you'll be fine. You know, I've been doing it with MacBook Air since I started. So let's see, I got my I got my tape deck here, and this is an Ion tape to PC. It's like the Walmart brand, you know, just kind of a basic little deal. But you know, I thought it was turned on right now. I guess not. But you know, whenever I need to dub tapes, this is what I do it with. You can load tapes in there and of course record onto the tapes, or you can record the tape onto another one. It's got high-speed dubbing and all that. You know, you can dub tapes back onto your PC after you've already got a tape. You know, you can plug it into the computer and get it back on. This was like $100 or something like that, you know, 129. It was a super nice little deal, and I get a fair amount of use out of it, you know. Anytime somebody buys a tape, I make them a tape, you know, from scratch. You know, sometimes even I have, you know, if they buy like a shorter tape and all I have is like a 30-minute tape, then, you know, I take the time to put extras, you know, extra little songs at the end just to fill up the tape, you know. And so then you effectively have kind of a one-of-a-kind little tape with bonus shit. So, you know, yeah, that's, if you've ever bought a tape from me, that's where it was dubbed. My monitors, Yamaha, I had a brain fart, TR5s, I think is what they're called. Something 5s. They're 5-inch somethings. and they're Yamahas, and they're good. They're very good speakers. Never had any qualms with them. These are, shout out to my dad, he bought these for me when I first started making beats and stuff, and I've never had to upgrade, never had any problems with them. Had them for like 6 years, still going strong, baby. Pretty cool little fake wood desk, matches all my other fake wood shit in my room. So, you know, gotta love that. Keeping it old school, I would keep all my tapes in the old school cassette holder. That's just some Sharpies. But yeah, so this is some of my newer stuff that I've picked up. And I actually even have more on the way as I'm making this video. I picked this up. I've had this guy for a while. This is the Roland TR-08. Of course, I had to spruce it up with some zebra wood side panels. I just got these off of Reverb. Some guy makes them. Just unscrew your old ones, put the new ones in. Classic 808. Use this on the entirety of Flash Flood, the entirety of Wicked City. You know, pretty much anything you hear 808s on. Sometimes I use samples, but most of the time it was straight from this guy. This little guy is fun, interesting for sure. Casio PT1. I actually may end up, this was kind of an impulse buy. I found it for like $40 on Etsy one day. It's cool. It's from the 80s. This is like the second or third keyboard that Casio released ever. So it's pretty dope, you know, and it's got just kind of that vintage look that I'm fond of. But yeah, actually, I might end up circuit bending this to do something else other than the very simple 4 sounds it does. It has some cool drum beats in it though. Yeah, it probably sounded like shit with everything going on in the background, but yeah, that's the Casio PT1. This guy, I'd show this one to you too, but I'd have to plug it in, which is going to take some time with all that shit going on under there. So you'll just have to admire it and hear it in later videos. This is a 1973 Roland Rhythm Arranger. This is the predecessor to the Roland CR78, which was their kind of first big major hit with drum machines before the 808, which this one's based on. Coming over here, this big guy is my piano. It's a Casio as well. Give it a quick yeah, just kind of a classic little piano. It's got a nice electric piano sound. Turn that sustain pedal on, baby. Yeah, I won't get too bogged down in that, but yeah, that's my piano. This guy, moving over, this is my Roland Saturn 09. It's a analog synthesizer, very basic one, from I think 1980 or 1979. Good look at it there with some sunlight, baby. There's the outside world. Say hello. Yeah, super vintagey sounding. You just got 4 little tone selectors, 2 envelopes, some little drawbar, kind of emulation. Got a tone, a tuning deal, sustain that you can turn on and off. I keep it at max, obviously, because what else would you do? This is my Casio MT30. This is another little underrated instrument from Casio. Far more advanced than the PT1 in the fact that it is polyphonic. You can play more than just one note at a time. So you can do chords and the like. I think it'll play up to 8 notes at once, which is pretty standard for most keyboards of the 80s. So, and this was one of the earlier ones, like a 1982 or 1. So, obviously I was immediately hooked in by the faux wood grain, plastic finish. I just love how cheesy and retro it looks. This right here is another old telephone that's been converted into a microphone. It has that this was done by Weird and Wired Creations over in the UK. This was a Christmas gift for my mom this year. It is just another cool lo-fi mic, 1/4-inch jack. No filter control on this one, but it automatically, it's got that perfect sound. And it's just another thing that's very inspiring. Makes me want to make music when I see it, So, and that's kind of the vibe that I try to have with the whole room. I try to make it, foster creativity and just in the way that it looks and the way that it's laid out. Oh, hold on. One last thing that I forgot. This microphone, let me get some light on there. This is an MXL V67G, G for gold. This was actually, anybody who knows anything about me knows my dad is part of the main reason that I started making music in the first place. He was a singer in a bunch of bands when I was growing up. And this is actually the mic that he recorded with the last album that he ever released, his favorite album that he ever released with his band Strike the Sun. And then there was kind of an unfortunate scenario with someone pawning and selling off all of his gear that he had left at the studio they were practicing at. And I ended up coming across this at the music store I worked at, and before I worked there, and I was like, hold on, what is this? And he was like, oh, you know what, fun fact about that, your dad actually recorded with that. So I was like, oh, okay, well, how much? I've got to have it. So yeah, that's been my main mic ever since then. I've never felt the need to upgrade. Gosh, I hope I'm not missing anything. Looks like I'm going. I don't think I am. I think I got it all. So yeah, that's the stew, man. I know that this was probably a super long video, and I'm gonna have to try my best to edit it down to something that isn't a chore to watch. But maybe you guys enjoy this stuff and you enjoy getting a peek into my creative process. There's one more final integral part. This is the little phone stand that I bought. Very nice. Off Amazon. It kind of looks like a snake. It's like a snake is just sitting there ready to jump down at me while I'm making music. Just like. Alright.